welcome back to Life Enrichment with Hank Ballinger. Today we're going to talk about a book that was very popular in the early 1900s, a book by the title of Think and Grow Rich. A fellow by the name of Napoleon Hill wrote this book, and it has been one of the all-time best sellers of how to build wealth. Now, there are many other good books in today's time. There are many books out there, many things that you can listen to on YouTube. We're going to talk about that a little bit today, and we're going to talk about that on the next lesson that we have. But the idea of Think and Grow Rich is sometimes hard to comprehend for the person who's out in the day-to-day workforce and you're working every day. You're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and you're trying to spend time with your family. You're doing church work, you're doing school work, or work for society. You're doing a lot of work, and you just think, well, I don't have time to sit around thinking. I've just got to be on the go all the time. But really, the way you build true wealth is, Napoleon Hill wasn't wrong. You think and you grow rich. I am not saying you never have to physically work. We're going to talk about that today. But you do have to do a lot of thinking. Now, the interesting thing about that thinking is it's not a normal type thinking, like just thinking about paying your bills or changing the oil in your car or going out and mowing the grass. It's a different type thinking. It's how will you build wealth? And again, we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. Before we get into that, as always, thank you for watching. Appreciate all who do watch. If you could, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and please share us on YouTube, share us on Facebook, just share us with everybody, because you can help us to help others by telling them to watch the channel, and hopefully the tips that we give them will help them and encourage them to build wealth and to kind of get themselves out of that day-to-day just barely getting by. And so you can help us, and we would really appreciate that. Now, Think and Grow Rich, really a great book. I read the book. It's an awesome book. A lot of really good points. As you're going through there, I'm sure different points would appeal to different people. But I don't know how all people grow up. I know there are poor people, middle-class people, and wealthy people. As always, almost in every country, some countries have more poor, more middle class. Some have more wealthy. America's very fortunate. We have a lot of wealthy. So you have a lot of examples, a lot of lessons. So we have that going for us. But let me just tell you, I grew up in a middle-class home. Nothing wrong with that. I loved the way I was raised. Had a great family in a great area, Jackson County, Kentucky. Way to go. So I really loved where I'm from. A lot of really great people up there. I really appreciate the people, the lesson I've learned. So it was great childhood. But I thought, as I was growing up, the way that you build wealth is to physically work. You have to work. Now, I think everybody needs to have a good work ethic. You have to have that. Even if you're going to think and grow rich, you need to have a good work ethic. You need to study and learn a lot from a lot of different resources. But at the same time, you have to have that work ethic. If you're lazy, slothful, probably not going to happen. Okay, you will have to get out. The thinking part is a lot harder than the physical work. The thinking is a lot harder. I love what Henry Ford said. He said, thinking is the hardest job there is. That's why so few people engage in it. True statement. So you'll have to think a lot harder than you physically work. Now, it is a hard mental transition to go from thinking to physically working, or to go from physically working to thinking about how to build wealth. And all you have to do is think. It's a hard transition. You know, when you think, well, if I go out and physically work, I could work 40 hours a week for somebody else. They're going to pay me, and after 40 hours, I'm done. After 8 hours a day, I'm done. I get the rest of my time. I don't have to think about it. True, if you start your own business and you do your own job, you do your own business, and you're trying to build wealth, yeah, you're going to carry that with you 24/7. Every day, all day, you got to be thinking about it. That's true, but the rewards are really good if that's something you want to do. Now, there's nothing wrong with those people who don't want to build wealth, who want to just work for someone else, or maybe they like their job. Nothing wrong with that. Just physically working, going home at the end of the day, enjoying your time off, nothing wrong with that. But if you do want to build wealth, there is an avenue anybody could do. If I can do it, you can do it. So the transition from physically working to thinking and building wealth, it's a tough transition. I won't kid you, it's hard. It's hard because when I first got started, I went to a lot of seminars, a lot of tapes, and a lot of books I was reading. It's hard because these guys were saying, think and grow rich. You know, you got to think your way to wealth. You got to plan. You got to work. It's all in the thinking. That's hard when all that you really know is the physical aspect of it. Physically working for somebody else, doing physical work, lifting, pushing, and just doing grunt work, which I was factory working. Again, nothing wrong with that. Know a lot of great people that I met during those years in the factory. But I wanted something different. I wanted to be able to build wealth and have my time as my time. So how can the average person make this transition? Now, I will tell you this, it will not be easy. Okay? Society is kind of geared that you go to school and you get an education, whether it's high school or college, whatever, and then you get a job working for somebody else. Again, nothing wrong with that. But when you have a job, and I don't care even if you have a high-paying job, if you're working for somebody else, they still dictate your source of living. They dictate your lifestyle, what kind of house you can live in, what kind of car you can drive, what kind of clothes you can wear, what kind of vacations you can go on. They dictate your life. Again, nothing wrong with that, if that's what you want. But if you want something different, that's possible too. It is harder. The thinking and the responsibility of all that being on you, it's daunting sometimes, but you can do it. So how can the average person make this transition? I don't know how everybody can do it, and on the next video, we're going to talk about a lot of success stories. But on this one, what I want to do is I want to tell you how I went from working in the factories and doing a lot of what they consider grunt work or blue-collar work to getting into where I own apartments and I work for myself. I have people that work for me. Really, we have a great staff of people, office personnel, field personnel, great people. So you can do it. So here's how I did it. One day I was in the factory and I thought, what am I doing wrong that most people that build wealth are doing? They're doing it and I'm not. What am I doing different or wrong? So I drove around town, and every time I came to a business where business whether it's Walmart or a strip mall or a shopping center, whatever, I'd say they made it. You do that a few hours, a few thousand times, you realize every one of those people can't be smarter than you. Maybe a lot of them. That's what I thought. Probably a lot of these people probably smarter than me. I didn't do well in school, didn't go to college, but I thought there's no way that 100% of them are smarter than me. So anybody can build wealth. I just have to figure out what they're doing that I'm not. And that was the exact right path. When a person builds wealth, I don't care if it's Henry Ford, J.D. Rockefeller, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, I don't care who it is, they are not smarter than you. They may be thinking different than you, but they're not smarter than you. Wealthy people are not smarter than anybody else. They just think different. And they think a lot more about how to grow rich. So that's the difference. Not that they're better, not that they're really any different. Not that they're smarter as far as book work or smarter in just everyday life, but as far as thinking about how to grow rich, well, they're thinking different. So let's see how that can work. So when I started out and I started buying apartments, I had to do both. I said, there's no way. When I was going to these seminars and they said, you don't want to collect rent. You don't want to serve eviction notices. You don't want to be doing this. You don't want to be doing all your own maintenance. I was doing it all. And it worked for me. Now, you can get ahead quicker that way because you're doing it all and you're not paying someone to do that. But I was working a full-time job and doing apartments on the side, and I got up to about 150 apartment units before I ever started hiring people. So I was doing a job, working in apartments. I had no time. Me, my wife, and my daughter, we were working evenings, we were working holidays, we were working weekends, anniversaries. We were working all the time. But it got us to where we are. So anybody can build wealth, but it's how much are you willing to think in order to grow rich? That's the key. That's the key. Anybody can do it. Now, as I got more apartments, I hired more people. And I hired these people to do the physical aspect of the job so I could do the thinking part of the job. Now, again, nothing wrong with the physical, nothing wrong with the thinking side. It's just two different aspects. We're all on the same team. We're just doing different jobs. Now my job is I buy and sell real estate. That's it. I don't have to do the field work. I don't have to do the office work. I just buy and sell real estate. And I really enjoy that. I love the chase. Donald Trump years ago, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican. I don't care if you like Donald Trump or don't. He's got a really good book in The Art of the Deal. He talks about the chase and trying to buy property. Now, if you get into real estate, you're going to find that that's very true. When you find a house or a set of apartments that you are wanting to buy, and you chase that and you get the deal going, whether you do owner finance, you got to talk to the bank, you got to get everything lined up. When you get that and you finally go to closing and you get that property, it will feel so awesome. And then you know what you're going to do the next day? Now you don't have the chase. You've already got that property in your name. You know what you're going to want to do? Chase another one. And it's the art of the deal. How can you construct this deal to where you can buy another property? And then when you get that one, you know what you're going to want to do? Get another one. And it's amazing how contagious this gets. But it's a lot of fun. Now, again, I am not going to kid you. Henry Ford was right. Thinking is the hardest job there is. I spend a lot of time thinking. Now, I tell my wife from time to time, I said, if you see me sitting around just thinking, I said, that's when I'm making money. If you see me up mowing or working or something, I'm not making money, or not near as much. When a wealthy person, when somebody that these big magnates from time to time, like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, the older ones, J.D. Rockefeller, Vanderbilt, Henry Ford, all of those guys, when you would see them sitting around thinking, that's when they're making the most money. That's when they're building the most amount of their wealth. If they're out eating dinner with somebody, talking about stuff, they're not really in depth thinking about how to build wealth. Now, let me go over something that's really, really interesting. I ask people real often, I say, how many hours do you work a week? A lot of times if they have a factory work or maybe they're blue collar sector, and they'll say, well, I work about 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week. And I say, that's great. I say, how many hours do you spend building wealth for yourself? And do you know what the standard answer, every now and then it varies a little bit, but the standard answer is this: zero. Zero. And I asked them, well, would you like to be wealthy? Oh yeah, I'd like to be wealthy. It's an odd thing that we will spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week working for somebody else to build their wealth, but zero time trying to build our wealth. Now, anybody can do this. All you have to do is start reading books, going to seminars. Today, get your phone, YouTube, wear it out, a lot of other social medias. Listen to these podcasts, listen to these videos. There's 1,000 people out there trying to tell you how to buy homes. You can do fix and flips. You can do BRRRR method. You can do house hacking. There's all kinds. You can do a signing. There's thousands of ways you can get property in your name. I have on YouTube, we have a website, and you can go to that website, and I have a course it's a 6-part course. It's going to take you about 10 to 12 hours to go through that course. It's $50. You go onto that web page, you take that course, and it's going to give you a pretty good idea how to get started. After that, if you want to send me a message, then I will try to make contact with you. You want to leave your phone number, I will make contact with you, and we can get together, and I will help you buy property. If you're in this area in Richmond, Kentucky, or you're in Kentucky, give me a call. If you're not around here, you may have to come here. But I can help you buy property and build wealth. A lot of people out there on YouTube and other social medias are willing to do that. Great opportunity. If you have a phone, use it. Think and grow rich. Now, listen to a lot of success stories. Why does this help you? Because you're going to find as soon as you start thinking and you're trying to grow, real soon you're going to hit a hurdle head on. And a lot of people just say, okay, it can't be done. I can't build wealth. And they give up. And here's the deal. When you're starting, you need to look at about 100 properties, make an offer on 10, get a response on 3, and buy 1. That means you're going to look at about 100 properties before you ever buy one. And then you know what? In order to get that second one, you're going to have to look at another 100 properties. To get that third one, you're going to have to look at another 100 properties. See, you're constantly busy. You're constantly on the phone, calling people about homes, about apartments. It's very, very busy. But the way you do it is think. Yeah, there's a lot of physical work involved too. But think and grow rich. It's not easy. But the success stories, you will find, every success story you listen to, you're going to find that every one of those people failed very, very often. I don't know of any that said, yeah, I just went from the bottom to the top. No problem. No hurdles at all. Easy piece of cake. I've never heard that story. Never. Never. It never happens. If you're going to build wealth, you will have hurdles. You're going to have to go over them, around them, under them, or through them. But you can do it. You can do it. Now, personally, I don't think I will ever just get to where all I do is sit around thinking. I like to work with my hands. I like to be busy. I like to accomplish stuff. So I don't think I will ever in my life get to where all I do is sit around thinking and never do any physical work at all. I just like to get up and be moving. Now, maybe that's you. Maybe you like working with your hands, and maybe you don't like thinking so much, but you still want to build wealth. Well, you may have to partner with someone who can do this part, and then you can do the physical part. There are opportunities for that. Now, years ago, I got into partners with 2 other guys. One of them put up the money for a property. I put up nothing. Another guy, he managed the property, and I did the maintenance. I did the physical work. The first guy, he put up the money. Me and the second guy, we put up nothing. And we were third partners. So I was a third in a property, and I did none of the putting any money up at all. I put no money up. You can do that. Now, if you will think and do the physical work to start with, you can eventually get to where you're pretty much doing only the thinking part, if that's your goal. But listen, here's the main gist of today's lesson. If you want to build wealth, it is very possible in America today for anybody to think and grow rich. You can do this. You can be redneck rich. See you on the next video.